welcome to Hot Edition here on 3FM. This is Bulletin. This bulletin is also live on KESME 107.1 FM. Coming up this evening, Attorney General and Minister for Justice Dr. Dominic Ayine chides Ghana Bar Association over what he describes as selective interest in legal cases in the country.
The lawyer in politics must be a voice of reason, moderation, and constitutionalism. The bar must speak out not to please governments or opposition parties, but to defend the rule of law, the independence of the judiciary, and the rights of the ordinary citizen.
Also, the coalition against Galamsey outraged over what it describes as the government's failure to recognize the urgency of the illegal mining crisis. Plus, we would be live in the Ashanti region as the Asante man commences observes solemnity in the week-long funeral for the late Asante Hema. We have the latest in the world of business and sports. Please stay with us. Thank you for choosing 3FM 92.7. I am Christabel Success Treve. Let's settle in for the news summaries tonight. Transport unions in Ghana are planning to withdraw their services in the capital city, Accra, starting Tuesday, September 16. Their intended action is in protest of a private developer ejecting drivers operating at CMB. This decision is likely to cause disruptions to commuters in the city. The unions are staging a protest, urging authorities to take immediate action to address their concerns and will continue until their issues are resolved. A 4-day dossier for the late Asante Hema Nana Konadu Yadom started this morning in Menchia Palace in Kumasi. Public viewing and filing past of the remains by various groupings in society at the Menchia Palace started at 5 a.m. and will continue until 5 p.m. An exercise that will continue through Thursday, September 18, 2025. But on Thursday, September 18, public viewing of the body will end at 11 a.m. to allow for the burial service. Among the designated segments of society to pay their last respect to the late Queen Mother today are political parties, educational institutions, recognized associations, religious groups, and members of the general public. In other stories, Bono Regional NPP Chairman Kwame Bafo, also known as Abronyet DC, has been granted bail by the courts in the sum of 50,000 Ghana cedis. It comes with one surety without justification. His lead counsel, Daniel Mante Ado, disclosed that Abronyet's health condition has deteriorated, and news of the bail has brought him some relief. The Eastern South Regional Police Command has arrested a man identified as Alhaji Abdul Wahab in connection with a viral video in which he allegedly issued death threats against the Minority Leader of Parliament, Alexander Apenyo Marking, and two others. According to a police statement released on Monday, September 15, the suspect was picked up in Koforidua and has since been cautioned and granted bail. Now let's settle for the details of these stories. And the Attorney General has chided the Ghana Bar Association over what it describes as selective interest in legal cases in the country. Speaking at the 2025 Ghana Bar's conference, Dominic Ayine challenged the bar to speak out and to please government or opposition, but as a voice of reason.
In 2015, an Article 146 petition was received by the Chief Justice in relation to the former chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Madam Loretta Lamte. The bar failed to speak out about process. In the run-up to the 2016 elections, the then opposition New Patriotic Party engaged the Electoral Commission in court battles over the voter identification system. This gave rise to the Abu Ramadan line of cases. Immediately upon assuming office in 2017, an Article 146 petition was filed for the removal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Charlotte Osei, and her deputies from office. The bar saw no basis to speak out about compliance with due process. But in recent times, the bar found its voice when petitions based upon the same constitutionally defined procedures were brought in respect of the removal from office of the former Chief Justice, Mrs. Gertrude Araba-Tokono. Ladies and gentlemen, the honest question we have to ask ourselves is, what changed? The lawyer in politics must be a voice of reason, moderation, and constitutionalism. The bar must speak out not to please governments or opposition parties, but to defend the rule of law, the independence of the judiciary, and the rights of the ordinary citizen. Our authority as a profession depends on public confidence that we stand above the fray of narrow partisanship. Let us therefore be the conscience of the Republic, fearless when governments overreach, impartial when opposition agitates, and always faithful to the sovereignty of the people under the Constitution.
You just heard the voice of Attorney General Dominic Ayine. He was speaking at the 2025 Ghana Bar Conference, where he was rebuking the Ghana Bar Association for what he is describing as selective interest in legal cases in the country. Still on legal matters, and embattled Bono Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Kwame Bafo, also known as Abronye DC, has been granted bail by the Accra Circuit Court on the third attempt by his lawyers. Abronye, who's facing charges of false publication and offensive conduct to the breach of peace, was arraigned before the court over comments he made against the Inspector General of Police. Lawyer for Abronye, Daniel Martin Asiedu-Dartey, spoke to the media.
Yes, so we repeated the bail application. This time it was an official bail application filed for favor of our application. So today, my client has been granted bail one surety in the sum of 50,000 with no justification.
I heard you say in court that you had to abridge. You wanted the court to abridge the hearing on from 19 to today. Why so? What happened?
Yes, so you recall that the return date for court is the 19th of September 2025. As a lawyer, you are appearing in court today. What is the basis? What grounds are you even appearing before now? In that regard, you may have to make an indication that the law should have arranged the time from the 19th to the 15th. They might not grant it. Until then, you don't even have basis to be in court to talk about this case. So then my law will have to grant it. That gives you some sort of capacity to even stand in court to confront the business and relations in that case. That was why I had to make the application to abridge the time from September 19th to September 15th, which is today.
So what was so urgent about the abridgment that you but at all costs, the court had to hear you today?
My client has an issue that needed urgent attention. I even attempted to visit him yesterday, but I couldn't get access to him.
We apologize for the bad quality of that sound, and that was lawyer for Abronye, Daniel Martin Asiedu, who was speaking to the media after his client, Abronye DC, was granted bail by the Accra Circuit Court. Security expert Richard Kumado has welcomed the government's swift response to concerns over the recent deportee agreement, saying key safeguards are in place. His comment comes on the back of Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa reiterating the country's stance in accepting the arrival of deportees into the country. During the government accountability series earlier today, the sector minister laid all fears of security breach. Take a listen.
And you are wondering if we will not be seen as an enabler. To the contrary, I mean, these people had their rights being violated already before their departure. We have followed the lawsuits that have been filed, and it is important to stress that Ghana has not been cited. We are not the target of these persons who say their rights have been violated. Their target is the United States, the Trump administration. And as has been pointed out, we are only helping our brothers and sisters. We are coming in purely on humanitarian grounds, expressing Pan-African solidarity, which Ghana is famed for. So we should rather be seen as a country that wants to look out for its fellow Africans. That is why we made it clear to the Americans that we will not accept $1. We don't want any, because it comes with some financial burden, hosting them, taking care of the accommodation and all of that before they transition to their countries. But we said that we will not, because it could be misconstrued and the impression could be created that we are doing this for some other motive, some financial objective. We are not seeking any financial.
That was Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa speaking there. Now, the security analyst during an interview described the president's prompt clarification as reassuring, noting that the involvement of the Foreign Affairs Minister, the Attorney General, and the Interior Minister in signing the agreement provides confidence that due diligence was done.
Honestly, I think it's reassuring. And it's good he spoke as quickly to this particular issue as possible. I think the concern people have was whether that this particular agreement requires parliamentary approval. And if that is not the issue, then from where I stand and the little I know, I can rest assured and I can competently say that in signing some of these agreements and getting to the conclusion part of it, 3 people you will want to have on that table is the Foreign Affairs Minister. The next person is the Attorney General, and the next person is the Minister of Interior. And so to the extent that these key stakeholders have been consulted and they've given an approval and the contract is signed, I want to believe that all the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed. So that is where we are. Some of these contracts with America can be complicated sometimes. But if I hear what the president said and from what the foreign minister is attesting to, it means that their predominant interest is the West Africans. And we have that common protocol among ourselves. So anybody who has been clear by the Ghana government that it can come, it means that the risk assessment has been done, and in terms of crime, in terms of security threats, and in terms of safety, and they will want to have them and facilitate their transportation to their various countries. So that is where we are, and this should be the content of the agreement we have signed, unless there are other intended purposes. But from what I have heard from the 2 gentlemen, this is my understanding. Definitely, he has spoken about it. I think public education is important. If the president hasn't said it, most people are not aware that the people have come and this agreement has been signed. And so public engagement is important. Government communication is important, considering the fact that today we have what we call governance on social media, and whatever they say goes very far. I think my brother Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, government communication, should put up a statement, and that would have gone far, and that would have addressed some of the concerns people have. But to the extent that you have the foreign minister, you have the attorney general, and you have the minister of interior at the table, at the time when these discussions were made.
That was security analyst Richard Kumadu there. Now let's pick the thoughts of some experts. Professor Lord Mauko Yevuga joins us on the line now. He is a professor of international relations and comparative political economist at GEMPA. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, the foreign minister has assured Ghanaians that there's no cause for alarm with the arrival of these deportees. From an international perspective, how significant is this assurance? And do you think Ghana signing this agreement and the input from the Foreign Affairs Minister to the Attorney General's office, does it give you the confidence that enough due diligence has been done?
Well, thank you very much. I think we need to make certain key clarifications. Under the Article 75 of the Constitution, the President can cause to be executed any foreign agreement, but it has to be ratified by Parliament. And I think that is what the minority is using to make a case. Yes, you have executive presidency, and the President can authorize the foreign minister and other ministers to steady such negotiations with foreign governments. But because Parliament represents the people, and conventionally, the idea the Parliament should be briefed, either openly or behind the scenes, so that we are all clear and we are all sure about what our government is taking us into. So I would say that, yes, the Foreign Minister, the Attorney General, the Interior Minister would have looked at the agreement. But as a democracy, that is representative democracy, we should open up the process. So transparency requires that Parliament, duly constituted, should have a say, particularly if it has to do with relations with other countries. I think that's the convention that we've established under the Fourth Republican Constitution. So it shouldn't be politicized. I mean, it's the right thing to do, even if it's in the interest of the government to make sure that they have nothing to hide, because the Ghanaian people need to be informed about what is contained, so that the minister doesn't have to be explaining in the media that Ghana is not taking any money from America. He wouldn't have to do all those explanations if Parliament is properly briefed and the minority have their questions to answer. Then the issue would have been resolved. But because they haven't done that, that's when the Prime Minister have to go on air trying to explain himself, which for me is not the way to go about it.
Now, going forward, what would you want government to do? What safeguarding measures should be put in place?
No, I think government have to do a number of things. Just like what happened when the Gitmo 3 were brought in, the then MPP in opposition raised issues. That was 2016. The MPP raised issues that these were American terror suspects that were being brought to Ghana. The Ghanaian people through Parliament should have been briefed. It didn't happen. But when Nana Akufo-Addo won the elections in 2016 and came to about 2017, they didn't cancel, but the Parliament was properly briefed behind the cameras, so that at least we got the assurances that we needed. So going forward, I think the Mahama government, in order to clear any doubt and suspicions, will have to brief Parliament one way or another. If behind the scenes, if you don't want the cameras to be there, we've always done that in certain sensitive national issues. So that way, we are all on the same page, and we are assured that the security of the state is not at any risk at any material time. So government will have to do that. It's also a way of accountable and transparent governance that needs to happen, so that we know who are we bringing in. Of course, the argument that they are West African nationals and they don't pose any threat, and that they've been even sent back to their home country, that's reassuring. But we need to do the briefing in Parliament so that our representatives will ask questions and get answers on our behalf. That's what the government should be doing.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll have to end it here. That was Professor Lord Mauko Yevuga. He is a professor of international relations and comparative political economics at GIMPA. Now, moving forward, with government's intention to close down the Saula and Vukuru camps this week, the over 20,000 displaced victims who had pitched camp in Saula and Vukuru have begun returning to their communities. At the Saula camp, for instance, which hosted over 1,000 victims since the conflict broke, has only 36 people, while the Vukuru camp, which hosted over 12,000 people, now has less than 6,000. The Saula and Vukuru camps were established for displaced individuals in the Bingiri conflict. Interior Minister Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak had earlier directed the Savannah Regional Security Council to ensure the camps are closed by today. The displaced individuals have, however, expressed concerns about insufficient security as they return to their respective communities. And I've been joined in by my colleague, Christopher Amwako. Thank you so much. He's joining us from Saula with more. Chris, it's almost close of day. Have all the people left the camps yet?
Not yet, Christabel. 36 of them are still at the Saula camp because these 36 have some health concerns, so they are unable to move into their communities. But I can say that the over 10,000 victims who were at the Saula camp, most of them have left, just like 36 of them who are yet to leave the camp. And the NADMO officials, as well as the Solatuna Kalba District Assembly, is dismantling the tents that used to house these displaced victims.
Chris, you visited some of the people who returned to their communities from Ivory Coast. What exactly have they been telling you about their safety in that area?
Yeah, so they've been raising concerns about the fact that since returning to their communities, even though they are going about their normal duties, safety is one concern that they have been raising because they cannot be sure if their communities will be attacked again or not. And so they want the Sola and Bole district assemblies as well as the Savannah Regional Security Council to intensify patrols across the areas, because right now what we are seeing is that the patrol team only goes into areas that are sort of town centers. They don't go to the interior communities, and so they are appealing to them that for their safety to be guaranteed, the patrol team will have to visit their communities as well, so that they know that their safety will be guaranteed.
Chris, just before you go, you have been speaking to authorities. What exactly have they also been telling you, and what is the way forward, basically?
Yeah, so the Savannah Regional Security Council, the Sola and Bole district security committees have been giving assurances that for the past 2 weeks, we've not experienced any fresh attacks, and that is an indication that some level of negotiations have gone in place. They are also saying that the overlord of the Gonja Kingdom, Yagbomura Bikunutu Jeusole the first, and his chiefs have bought into the negotiations. They have also asked their men to cease fire. And so we are seeing the communities getting people returning. So the authorities are saying that it's in itself a means of assuring the general public that the place is peaceful. They will also intensify security visibility to give some level of hope to the people returning, so that life will get back to normal.
Are drastically down. Most of them are gone. I do hope and pray that they will remain in their various communities. Currently, we have less than 100 people. I don't have the actual figures, but going around, we have less than 100 people in the various tents. And very soon, as we are putting the security measures in place, we will send all of them back to their various communities.
How soon are you sending them?
In the course of this week, hopefully. And we also do pray that nothing happens in any community any longer. This will enable us and all of them back. You know, definitely every conflict situation have its challenges. And this hardship and other things are the challenges of conflict. And with the help of stakeholders and donor partners, developmental organizations, I'm very sure we will overcome this in the near future.
Now, some displaced victims have also been speaking. Take a listen.
Meet me, ya Juma. Dan in Papa and Bekun Parliament, that down for me to me, sorry. The police for family ban. About me, sorry, I mean, that's a meet me a face. So, go do back. All I need do back. No, me so yare. Meet me a face. Meet me a Jumabia. Nini Paso is by everyone, and yes.
Well, that was a displaced individual who was expressing some concerns about how concerned she is living in that area. We want to say thank you to my colleague, Christopher Amwakon. He is our Northern Regional Correspondent. Away from that, the Coalition Against Galamsey says it is outraged over what it describes as the government's failure to recognize the urgency of the illegal mining crisis. The group says the president's recent remarks on Galamsey falls short of the urgency required to address the menace.
President John Mahama, during an encounter with the media last week, cautioned against the hasty declaration of a state of emergency in the fight against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey. According to the president, while the idea of a state of emergency might appear attractive, it should only be considered as a last resort. The president's position, however, has not sat well with some stakeholders, including the Coalition Against Galamsey Ghana.
Our government's failure to see the urgency and the crisis we face from illegal and irresponsible mining is deeply distressing and disappointing. The coalition again reiterates our disappointment with the recent statement of His Excellency the President. These statements seem to support the environmental terrorism. The President's narrative and de facto justification on such a platform will only serve to give oxygen to impunity. This is deeply unfortunate and regrettable.
According to the convener of the Coalition Against Galamsey Ghana, Ken Ashigbe, the prolonged tolerance for illegal mining has far-reaching economic consequences.
The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission is considering a request from the Ghana Water Company Limited for a staggering 280% increase in water tariffs. This is not a request for a tariff increase. It is an admission of catastrophic failure. It is an invoice being presented to the Ghanaian people for a mess we did not create. We are being forced to pay for the crimes of others.
For his part, convener of the One Ghana movement, Senyor Hosi, blamed the lack of progress on a lack of political will.
We had our own friends and brothers, Sam George, what's his name, Ogujeto, and they said all these things, we can finish in a week. We are dealing with months. You should really be embarrassed. And we should also stop having the conversation about what has been done. Oh yes, we have done it. And so what? NECOC is saying, have our waters improved? No. Our forest reserves? No. So where are we? If the government's problem is that dealing with Galamsey may affect gold production, then this government is very misplaced and lack economic capacity and skill to run this country.
The group is meanwhile, amongst others, recommending the president provides milestones and timelines to serve as a guide for continuous action, demonstrating government's commitment.
That was a report put together by my colleague Noble Crosby. And now let's get onto the phone lines and engage the coordinator for eco-conscious citizens, Awula Sewa. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Thank you for having me.
The conversation on illegal mining continues to drum home the gravity of the issue. Am I right?
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. The line sort of went off. I can hear you now.
Right. We can hear you as well. So we're asking, this conversation on illegal mining continues to drum home the gravity of the whole situation. Am I right?
Gravity and urgency. We need to grasp the fact that it's urgent. 66% of our water bodies have been contaminated. Ghana Water is now telling us that they're using more and more and more chemicals to purify the water, and that's why the tariffs are so up. More importantly, what are the side effects of these chemicals they are using? And let's all remember that the fact that the water is clear doesn't mean that it's safe from heavy metals. So we don't even know what we are consuming. Even those who are wealthy enough to say, I don't buy Ghana Water. What do you brush your teeth with? What do you bath with? What do you cook with? We see some existential threat, and it's the urgency that we're trying to make clear to government that it's a very urgent matter. We cannot continue dilly-dallying. If we continue, the consequences will be unimaginable.
The president recently commented on Galamsey during his media encounter. Now, you and your group, I should say, believes his remarks fell short of what many were expecting. What exactly would you want to hear from him and see being done? What exactly is that?
What all responsible Ghanaians want is an end to the ecocide. We face an existential threat, and we are on the verge of a catastrophe. Which country can survive when over 60% of their water bodies are contaminated and still going? The mayhem is going on as we speak. Our forest reserves are being decimated. Our farmland, now even the food that we are eating, the food chain has been compromised. Even the food we are eating How safe is it? How safe is it? You have a situation where 2.5 million peasant farmers are at risk of losing their livelihood. Many of them have had their farms destroyed. So we face an existential threat. Our water is being poisoned. Water is life. Forest reserves being decimated. The food that we eat is being poisoned. Confanotia Hospital has told us that the number of kidney disease cases has gone up fourfold. We know there's a rise in maternal death, deformed babies. This is a very serious situation. And yet, every day, more and more excavators are coming into this country. We need to ban importation of excavators. What are they being used for? Is there such a phenomenal building boom going on that we need excavators? Of course not. They're finding their way to our forest reserves. So what we want is for this mayhem to stop. The suggestion of being declared a targeted state of emergency where you go on. But in addition to that, you want the powers that you need and that you can have under a state of emergency to do what needs to be done. Make sure you set up your special court. Make sure that when you can seize the excavators and auction them and maybe give the money to those who are fighting illegal mining. There's so much that can be done with all the resources at our disposal. And that is why not just the coalition, but many others are asking for a targeted state of emergency to deal with the cancer that is ongoing.
Just before you go, you have made the call, but to what extent are you willing to go to make sure this request is granted? Are we looking at petitions? Are we looking at demonstrations? What exactly?
Well, what we do know is that Spence doesn't want this mission to continue. But what we need is the political will to deal with those, the government, deal with those who finance them. As was the case in the past administration, we need the political will to say that the lives of the 30 million Ghanaians are paramount, and we have to do something about it. We want the president to ensure that his MCEs and ECEs in the illegal mining areas, where it's endemic, they should be dismissed. If illegal mining is taking place and we can't see that they are taking any action to stop it, are they complicit? Are they part of it? They should be dismissed, and so the same should apply to the police force. But if our demands are not met, and I'm confident that the president will meet the demands. The president will meet the demands. I don't think he wants his legacy to be that he stood there and did not have the political will to deal decisively and robustly with illegal mining, and that under his leadership, illegal mining got from bad to worse, and Ghanaians were just dying or contracting kidney disease. I'm confident that the president will come up and do the needful. But if that doesn't happen, I think that Ghanaians will decide whether they want to continue being poisoned because a few people are greedy and they don't care about anybody else, whether Ghanaians will just sit angry or Ghanaians will take to the streets. It remains to be seen. Because it's not just the CSOs who are being poisoned, it's every single Ghanaian. You are being poisoned, I am being poisoned. So it's up to every Ghanaian to decide whether they are happy to be poisoned. The only thing they are unhappy about is for Ghana Water to raise the cost of water, or whether they value their lives. They do realize that if our ancestors had been as wicked as we were, wouldn't have come to lose forest reserves or any water bodies. And that we have to think, we're talking about the youth. What about the future of the youth? I'm mortgaging their future. So I'm confident that the president will do the needful. But in the unlikely event that he doesn't, the people will speak.
We'll continue to keep advocating. Thank you so much, ma'am. That was the coordinator for Eco-Conscious Citizens, Awula Sewa. This is still Hot Edition here on 3FM 92.7. We'll be back after the short break. Stay with us.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you for staying here with us on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Christabel Success Treve. The capital of the Asante Kingdom has been transformed into a sea of solemn black and red as the official week-long funeral rites for the Asante Hema Nana Kunedu Yadom III commenced Monday morning at the Menchia Palace. The somber yet grand ceremony marks a period of official mourning for the kingdom, honoring the life and legacy of the Queen Mother who passed away in August. The event has drawn thousands of mourners, including high-ranking chiefs, dignitaries, and subjects from across Asante Mine and beyond, all paying their final respects. Take a listen. Well, we've been joined by my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar. He's joining us from the Menchia Palace. More on this. Thank you so much, Ibrahim, for joining us.
Thank you.
What more can you report on the ceremony in honor of the late Asante Hema?
Well, I can tell you that currently when you come to Menchia Palace, the air there is very thick with the sound of traditional dirges from the ponton, from the Tumpan drums, just to signal that there is a profound loss felt by the Asante Mine. And you go there, the only color of dress you find people wearing are either black or red. And attendees are observing the state costume as a sign of respect. In fact, when you look at this week, from yesterday to Thursday, when the grand funeral will be done, it has been described as a sacred period for Asante Mine. And each of these days will feature some specific traditional rites, because for now, the ancient customs that are being followed are to ensure that a dignified transition is being given to the Queen Mother. So today we had the former President of the Republic, John Ajikun Kufuor, coming, some political party heads, traditional authorities, the clergy, and also corporate bodies coming to greet Otumfuo and to join him in the funeral celebration of his late sister and also the Queen Mother of the Asante Kingdom. Like I said, it will be in 4 days from today to Thursday, when we are expecting the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, other heads of state and high-profile dignitaries to also join in and climax. As we speak, the day has ended. A lot of people came there from different walks of life, different backgrounds, just to observe the culture and tradition of the Asante Kingdom. And most of them are excited that they've seen some form of unity and other things that they believe the entire country can embrace, so that we always see ourselves as one people.
Ibrahim, paint a picture for us as to how security is looking like, how people going about their normal duties in the area.
Well, I can tell you that security has been tightened around the Menchia Palace and its environs to ensure order, because Asante Mine is expecting even a larger influx of mourners in the coming days. So routes to Menchia, most of them have been blocked. There are people, VVIP, who are given stickers so that they will be able to access with their vehicles. But when you are on foot, regardless of where you are coming from, you'll be able to access Menchia Palace to observe what is going on. For now, business activities are going on normal. We are only told that it is on Thursday when the grand ceremony or grand final rites will be done that there has been directive that there shouldn't be any trading activity. So on Thursday, when you come to Kumasi, it's possible you see schools being closed down, banks, all apart from the media and the health facilities that will be operational. All other activities or all other businesses will have to shut down. That is on Thursday. But from now to Wednesday, you can conduct your business, and that is what is happening. Every business is just moving. Just that when you get close to Menchia, some of the businesses have decided not to open up because they may not even have access to get there with their vehicles.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Abubakar. That was Ibrahim Abubakar, who is our Shanti regional correspondent, who was bringing us up to speed with the happenings in or at the Menchia Palace as they bring a week-long funeral rites to an end this week. Let's move on to some other stories. And the Central Regional Police Command has begun a manhunt for 6 suspects who escaped law custody at Kotokuraba Police Station in the Central Region. On September 11, 2025, about 9 p.m., the Central Regional Police Command received information through the District Police Commander that 6 out of 8 suspects, namely Kofi Esifua, Enes Kojo, Eko Ahimfo, Tofik Fasal, Henry Kofi, and Inusa Adai, who were arrested for various criminal offenses, had escaped. Now, Chief Inspector Isaac Evans is Deputy PRO for Central Region. Take a listen.
On September 11, 2025, about 9 p.m., the Central Regional Police Command received information through the District Police Commander that 6 out of 8 suspects, namely Kofi Asifua, Ernest Kojo, Eko Ahimfo, Tofik Faisal, Henry Kofi, and Inusa Adai, who were arrested for various criminal offenses, had escaped. That on the same day, about 8:40 p.m., the supervising inspector at the Kotokuraba Police Station sent the station orderly to buy food for the inmates as they complained of hunger, and they later asked for water to flush the WC as the taps were not flowing. In the process of opening the cell's door to give the inmates water, 6 out of the 8 suspects overpowered the inspector and ran away. The District Police Commander, upon the receipt of the information, led the 9th Patrol Team in search of the suspect throughout the whole night. The same day, to no avail. The Central Regional Police Commander requests the general public to help with any incredible information that will lead to the recapture of the 6 suspects.
That was Central Regional Deputy PRO Chief Inspector Isaac Evans. The Education Minister Haruna Idrisu has urged security agencies to intensify efforts to maintain calm, ensuring that education can thrive even in conflict-prone areas. The minister arrived in Boku to monitor the progress of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, WAXI, in the midst of lingering conflicts in the area. Well, this is still Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We'll be back with the latest in business and sports. Bismarck Awusa is standing by.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Coming up tonight, Ghanaians to pay more at the pump from Tuesday as Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies projects sharp increases in petrol, diesel and LPG prices despite falling international market costs. I am Bismarck Kausa. This headline story and others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies is projecting significant hikes in fuel prices from Tuesday, September 16, 2025, with petrol, diesel and LPG all expected to go up. According to the Chamber, this expected hike is due to the sharp depreciation of the cedi. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk report. Petroleum prices in Ghana are set to climb again this week. According to the latest outlook by the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, petrol will rise between 3.66 and 5.86%, pushing the pump price to about 14 cedis 17 pesos per litre. Diesel is expected to go up between 2.12 and 4.32% to retail around 14 cedis 67 pesos per litre, while LPG could jump by as much as 4.23% to hit 14 cedis per kilogram. The Chamber attributes the looming hikes mainly to the depreciation of the Ghana cedi, which lost 7.76% of its value against the US dollar during the pricing window, weakening from 11 cedis 20 pesos to 12 cedis 7 pesos. Bloomberg data shows this brings the local currency's year-to-date loss to over 14%, among the steepest in the world. Interestingly, prices of finished petroleum products on the international market have been falling, with petrol, diesel and LPG dropping by more than 2% each. But the Chamber explains that these declines have been wiped out by the cedi's sharp depreciation, making domestic fuel price increases unavoidable. And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies projecting sharp increases in petroleum products from Tuesday, September 16. Now, the Bank of Ghana Governor, Dr. Johnson Isiama, has revealed that Ghana's trade surplus has increased to $6.2 billion for the first 8 months of this year. According to him, this was underpinned by robust gold exports and higher cocoa receipts. The Bank of Ghana Governor disclosed this when he opened the 126th Monetary Policy Committee meeting today in Accra.
On the price front, colleagues, headline inflation fell further to 11.5% in August, its lowest since October 2021, and this was supported by a tight monetary stance, the fiscal consolidation that has been sustained, and better food supplies, as well as core measures and expectations that also continue to re-anchor. Colleagues, external buffers have strengthened, and for the first 8 months of the year, Ghana recorded a trade surplus of $6.2 billion, underpinned by robust gold exports and higher cocoa receipts. Our gross international reserves stood at $10.7 billion in August, covering about 4.5 months of imports.
And that was Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, ending the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Kausa. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Bill Ishan is here for sports. Please stay.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, in a derby match with a lot of importance attached to Ruben Amorim, his side failed to turn up at the Etihad Stadium and fell to a comprehensive 3-0 defeat against Manchester City. Nevertheless, the Portuguese boss made a point in his post-match press conference that he would not change his style regardless of external pressure, claiming that if Ineos wants to see a change, they would have to relieve him of his duties. Now reflecting on the tough day at the office, former Manchester United player Gary Neville has made his feelings clear on what he feels could come next at Old Trafford.
So there's got to be a quick turnaround pretty quickly, and the manager's idea has got to land very quickly with the players. Now, I'm not saying here today, I don't think there's any suggestion, and I'm not suggesting that, the players have got down tools on him. They've not, but they're struggling a little bit. They're struggling. They're struggling against Burnley at home. I was at the match. They're struggling against Fulham away in large parts of the game. They're struggling at Grimsby. They struggled here today. They're struggling with it. They're struggling to find rhythm, to find tempo, to find performance levels. I was really heartened by the first game of the season against Arsenal. I thought it was a really good performance. But maybe that was just they'd had a good pre-season. They built this sort of... But maybe now Cunha gets injured, Mount gets injured. The old sort of scar, the old wounds, the old scars are starting to open up. And I'm worried. I'm worried about the manager. I'm worried about what's going to happen in this next few weeks. I don't think it's a time for panic. But I've seen this before. We've seen this film, haven't we?
That was Gary Neville, former Manchester United player. Now to the world of athletics, and Mundo Duplantis cleared 6.30 meters on his return to Tokyo, setting the 14th world pole vault record of his career at the World Athletics Championships. Now back at the scene of his first senior global title win in 2021, the Swedish star managed his latest world record on his third and final attempt to claim his third consecutive World Championships crown and his 8th major senior international title in front of a packed and passionate crowd at the Japan National Stadium. Now here's the Swede after adding another world record.
Yeah, I think it's me giving something to them as much as also they're giving something very special to me, and to be able to enjoy this world record with them and give them that, I think is super, super special, especially considering that last time I was here competing in this stadium, we didn't have any spectators. It was spooky and eerie and super weird and not fun, honestly. And this time, it's a completely different situation. It's a absolutely amazing crowd that was giving me so much energy the entire competition, especially at the end when it got to that world record height. So I just feel, very overwhelming sense of gratefulness, and I'm just very happy. Yeah, I guess not. I don't really know exactly how easy people think it is. When it comes to me, I know people think that I just do it in my backyard all the time, but it doesn't quite work out that way, even though I am able to do it, rack up quite a few of them. But yeah, you have to get the numbers right. You have to get everything perfect, and you got to get the tiny little details right to be able to make it, and just trying to work it out with me and the pops and the mom, just trying to work the details out.
That was Mundo Duplantis after breaking the record for his 14th time in his career. Now, still on athletics, Nigeria's track queen Toby Amuzan has won a silver medal in the women's 100-meter hurdles at the Tokyo 2025 World Athletics Championships, clocking a brilliant 12.29 seconds in the final. Amuzan powered through a high-pressure final at the National Stadium, finishing just behind Dichaji Kumbanji of Switzerland, who struck gold with a new national record of 12.24 seconds. Here's a reaction from Toby Amusan.
I remember in 21, I came here and I came forth. The moment I heard World Championship is going to be kept here, I had a PTSD. But then I had to snap out of it, and I told myself I am not leaving here without the gold medal. I'll take a silver, but yeah. It's been good. The journey has been extremely rough. I've taken more L's than wins, and I'm just thankful that I have a great support system, my coach, my family, my mentors, my loved ones, my fans, Bob, not too much. And I'm just out here, doing the training, competing, and this is for everyone. This is for everyone who supported me through it all.
That was a Nigerian sprinter, Toby Amuzan. Bringing an end to sports here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishen.
Thank you very much, Bill, and that'll be it for Hot Edition here on 3FM 92.7. Well, 3FM Drive team is up next with DJ Faculty. Please stay with them.